So hi and welcome to another episode of Fact Fiend Focus. This is an very infrequently updated series where I, Karl Smallwood, your host for this episode, just answer a question about media that seemingly only bothers myself. This week I'm looking to answer a question that has bugged me for what I can tactfully describe as a long time. Which sitcom dad is best at sex? In many ways, sex is like a joke. For it to work, you need at least one other person, and if you don't listen and pay attention, you're not going to get it. Ironic then that one of the most popular, well-worn, tired jokes seen in the situational comedy genre is that the main character's wife wants absolutely nothing to do with their penis.
Just dropped the kids off at their play date and now it's time for mine.
Okay, not now, Ray.
A joke that has been driven into the ground far harder than any of the women it's aimed at, which hasn't stopped it being really fucking prevalent across multiple forms of media for decades now, to the point where I hate my wife is shorthand for crappy boomer humour.
My wife and I go to a romantic restaurant twice a week. Little candlelight, a little wine. She goes Tuesdays, I go Fridays.
Most notably, and as mentioned, the joke is very popular in situational comedies, with most situational comedies having a plot point at some point that the inexplicably hot wife, lumbered to the sad sack of shit that is the main character leading the show, doesn't want to touch their touch.
I finally figured out what our problem is.
What?
We had no problem. That's the problem. Our relationship was great until you banned sex.
No, Doug, we were avoiding communication.
Now, is it fair to say that the men writing these jokes, and in some cases leading the shows themselves, are telling on themselves, and it hints to the fact that they're shit at having sex with their wife? Yeah, it does. Let's move on.
You seem to have forgotten that I am a woman.
I forgot that you're a woman? How could I? You're always yapping.
But this joke being so common made me wonder, are there any sitcom husbands out there who quite literally buck the trend and get busy with their wife?
Consistently and thoroughly.
And if there were, could I find enough of them to make a list and rank them online? I mean, you're watching this video so you know that there is a list, but you don't know the order of the list or the highly scientific criteria I used to determine each sitcom character's propensity for penile excellence. So let's get to that now. Okay, so the rules I used for determining whether or not a character was considered for this list and the criteria I considered while calculating their porking proficiency are as follows. Number 1. The character must hail from a sitcom or have either a wife and or children. There's certainly a trend of hapless sad sack characters who are unlucky in love who are also probably terrible at getting women off. But this video isn't about them.
I'm a full-on rapist, you know? Africans, dyslexics, children, that sort of thing.
This list is intended as a definitive ranking of sitcom dads' aptitude for dicking down their wife. Nothing more, nothing less. Number 2. Sex has to be a topic alluded to or mentioned on the show. Not every sitcom delves into the love lives of the main or secondary characters, and as a result, it's impossible to extrapolate on what this means for their sexual skill or lack thereof. Maybe John Ritter on 8 Simple Rules was a bona fide vaginal virtuoso. The show never goes into it, so why would I?
Couldn't she have been born hideously ugly?
Ugly people have sex too.
Ew.
Number 3. Context matters. Jokes are what inspired this video, but they're not the only thing that informs it. Sometimes a character's jokes about their wife's lack of interest in their penis are just that, a joke.
Times, moms and dads get a little accustomed to each other.
Dads especially.
And there's other context provided in the show that suggests at least some wang-slinging competency.
And I'm looking to move up from man once a year.
Number 4. Attraction is relative. A less savoury subset of jokes in the take my wife please genre of comedy is about the wife in question being unattractive.
It's a workstation.
Got it.
You come in here dressed like a hobo, it's distracting.
I know you're working. I'm so sorry.
Come on.
I won't be taking that into account, partially because it's a pretty shitty thing to do, partially because attraction is relative, and also because there's not a single example of this trope I'm aware of where the wife who's being called ugly or unattractive isn't a stone cold fox, and the husband is like Kevin James.
What do you think about women wearing their hair up in buns?
Ooh, fugly.
Am I crazy? I mean, is that a good look?
Yeah, if you're the old lady who owns Tweety Bird.
Thank you. Carrie started wearing her hair in a bun like a week ago, and I thought it was just gonna be like a one-time thing, but it's hanging on like a bad cold.
Ouch. Tough break, man.
I just don't get it. I mean, tying your hair up? I mean, why not tape your breast down while you're at it, am I right?
And finally, number 5. Chemistry is important. Harder to quantify, but as we all hopefully know, sex isn't just about pile driving the fuck out of your wife for 5 minutes. There's more to it than that, so I'll also be taking into account whether or not the husband and wife in these shows actually seem to like each other. Likewise, I'll take into account whether they're intimate in ways that aren't necessarily sexual. Holding hands, kissing, enjoying activities together. You know, things that couples who like each other do.
I'm gonna take a shower. Do you care to join me?
You know, honey, there's a gun in the footlocker in the garage. If I ever say no to that question, I want you to use it on me.
With that out of the way, and this being a very scientific list, we need to establish a baseline, and for that, we need the sitcom dad I think is so abysmal at putting his penis inside of his wife that it inspired me to make this list in the first place. Raymond Barone.
I am officially asking you to please have some sex with me.
Ironically, despite hailing from a show literally titled Everybody Loves Raymond, like, a running gag on the show that is, of course, very funny, is that Ray has so little sex, he's walking around with balls bluer than a drowned Smurf.
Try being rejected 40 or 50 times every year for the last 10 years. How do you think that feels? You're looking at the president of the Fat Ugly Old Ladies Club.
Turn on any random episode of this show, and there's a very good chance that at some point, Ray will bemoan the fact that his wife Deborah won't fuck him, or will be shown endlessly badgering her to have sex. Now, in regards to these jokes, the fact that Deborah invariably rejects Ray's advances is one of the show's most famous and longest running gags. I mean, I'm laughing.
After how many years? You can't tell I'm not in the mood right now?
All right, now I'm starting to get it.
So what's the deal? Well, the show offers numerous explanations for Ray's abysmal success rate at convincing his wife to touch his penis. His cock-cess rate, if you will. But the too long didn't read explanation is that Ray is just a really shitty dad. Basically, Deborah is stuck raising 4 children instead of the 3 that she technically literally has. For example, another running gag on the show is Ray's absolute refusal to perform his basic fatherly duties, shirking the responsibility to do things as simple as feeding his children or picking up after himself. In cases where he absolutely has to do these things, he's very happy to defer to his own mother, who will come from across the street to perform his fatherly duties for him. As a result, every household chore in the Barone household that isn't handled by Ray's mother is handled by his wife. Not that Ray seems to notice, because every single time Deborah tells Ray that she's too tired to have some sex, you know, because she's been picking up after him, or feeding his children, or cleaning his house, or any one of the other dozen things that needs to be done to maintain a family home on any given day, his usual response is to employ one of 2 tried and true tactics: sulking like a toddler, or begging. Both of which are, of course, very attractive. Also, I have to mention, because it's really, really weird, one of Ray's other tactics to try and get his wife to have sex with him is to tell her it won't take that long and she doesn't really need to pay that much attention, which just really makes him seem like he doesn't care.
Doing?
What? You're up.
So what?
So I come in here, you're up, you're in a good mood, you're not too tired.
Who says I'm not too tired? All I'm doing is reading.
So you can stay up to read, but you can't spare 2 minutes for sex.
And when you look at the tactics Ray employs to get his wife into the mood, the fact the Barones don't have a humidifier in their bedroom to compensate for how dry his wife's vagina has to be after hearing these excuses year in, year out, is one of the show's biggest plot holes in my opinion.
What? How about tomorrow?
How about we start today and go till tomorrow?
Oh, we'd have to start at 11:59 then.
Anyway, in regards to how much of a petulant, non-pussy-getting dud Ray is, there's an episode of the show in which his wife, Deborah, and his mother, Marie, are in the middle of an icy feud, which Ray refuses to engage with, which is its own kettle of fish I'm not going to get into, but yeah, he just lets his wife get verbally abused by his mother and never steps in. I wonder why she doesn't feel attracted to him. Anyway, during this episode, Ray talks to his wife and explains to her, hey, I would like it if we had some sex. She tells him she's too tired, but agrees to have sex the next day.
Well, you sound very sincere, so I guess you'll have no trouble signing this.
And that alone is kind of a dire condemnation of the state of their relationship. But what he does next, it's real bad. He makes his wife sign a piece of paper agreeing to have sex with him the next day.
I agree to have daytime sex with Ray Barone tomorrow, May 23rd of this year.
So to be clear, Ray Barone's penile power level is so low that rather than washing a dish, feeding his kids, introspecting about why his wife doesn't want to fuck him as much as he'd like and how much of a loser he is. He'd rather guilt his wife into having pity sex with him the next day, and he considers this to be a win.
In case you have any ideas of ripping this up in the middle of the night. I win either way.
As for the act of sex itself, there are a couple of episodes that hint at the fact Ray is a shitty, selfish sex haver. For example, there's one episode where his brother chastises him for not holding his wife's hand, with Ray dismissing this playful act of intimacy of not being something that's important to a relationship.
Hold hands.
You're a stupid person.
I'm serious. Something as simple as holding hands could give someone a sense of togetherness.
For anyone curious, when Ray broaches the subject of holding hands more, Ray's wife Deborah is in love with the idea.
I gotta have a reason. I wanted to hold your hand, so I want to hold your hand.
Oh. Okay.
But eventually, by the episode's end, decides not to do it because when they try and hold hands, rather than holding hands, Ray lets his hand lie limply in hers and expects her to do all the work. I wonder if there's a metaphor for something here.
Well, I mean, give me something. Your hand's just laying there.
What do you mean, just laying there?
Look, this is not holding hands. It's just laying it on there.
Now, initially, I was going to tally up all the moments like this and extrapolate on what that meant for Ray's talents in the bedroom, but I don't actually have to do that because there's an episode of the show that directly confirms that Ray hasn't dicked down Deborah properly in years. Called No Roll, the thrust of the episode, which is ironic given that Ray's probably terrible at even that, is that Ray gets so sick of his wife's general interest in sex and having him flop around on top of her for a few minutes that he goes out and he buys a sexy board game. To Ray's astonishment, his wife is actually excited about the prospect of trying something new in the bedroom and enthusiastically agrees to take part in the game.
It's okay, Ray. Come on, let's go play.
What?
Now, the game itself was just a prop made for the show, and the rules are never really explained, but it appears to be a fairly simple dice game where you land on either blue or pink squares. You land on a blue square, you do something naughty. On a pink, something romantic. Think of it like sexy snakes and ladders, where the end goal is to run your snake up the ladders of her tights. I'm pretty sure that metaphor works. As you probably guessed from all the clips I've shown you of Ray begging his wife to let him nudge her world for 5 minutes and then immediately go to sleep, he really wants to land on those darn blue squares.
5. Okay, 5's what I'm talking about. Come on, 5,
Look,
baby.
if we get a 3, we get to write each other a poem.
Oh, God, please, no, please, 5. Come on, 5.
As an aside, clearly the costume department for this episode had a lot of fun. And you'll notice that Ray is wearing blue and Deborah is wearing pink. This is a cute, if on-the-nose nod to what each person in that scene is looking to get out of the game. Anyway.
Fever in the cat house, the doctor ain't home.
Ha! 9.
All right, I'll move it for you.
But here's the twist. It turns out Deborah wants to land on the blue squares too. She just reveals that she needs a little bit of work to get there, perhaps by spending some time on some of the pink squares. News that completely blindsides Ray.
No, I'm not talking about romance, though. I wanted to play this game for other things, too.
I know. I don't hold your hand enough. Watch you sleep. Listen to your heartbeat. Ma.
Ray has the fact his wife needs foreplay to get in the mood literally spelled out in front of him on a board game he bought. And he just doesn't get it.
This game is supposed to improve our sex life.
Yeah, well, then I got the wrong game. I should have got the game that gets you to have a sex life.
He doesn't get it so hard that he attempts to defend himself by saying that he's willing to do anything to get his wife in the mood, telling Deborah that all she has to do is tell him exactly what she wants and he will do it.
Why? What is romance? Tell me what it is. I'll do it every time.
A statement that is so fucking funny when you consider that one of the show's longest running gags is the fact that Ray never does anything around the house, even when he's directly told to do so. For the guys watching, this is probably one of the least attractive qualities you can display to a current or potential partner. You might not think saying something like this is a problem, or you might, like Ray, even think that it's romantic. But here's the thing. You're not thinking. All you're really doing is telling the person that you'd like to rail in the shower that they're going to have to deal with the mental load of your day-to-day life as well as theirs. And who the fuck wants to deal with that? Whatever the case, Deborah isn't swayed by this argument, I suppose, and reveals to Ray that for all of his posturing and claims that he's willing to do anything to get his wife in the mood for some hanky-panky, he really only has one move, and it isn't a move that really works for her.
I need more variety.
Now, due to issues with censorship, it's a show that aired quite early in the day, Deborah can't outright say that Ray can't fuck her right. But look at how dejected this man is. Tell me this isn't the face of a man who just learned that his wife can count the number of orgasms he's given her on the one hand not holding the vibrator she has to hide in the bathroom so he doesn't feel emasculated. A man who just learned that his best chance of making his wife scream in bed would be to wipe his dick on the curtains afterwards. Well, there are undoubtedly a bunch of sitcom dads out there who match Ray in terms of uselessness as a parent and a partner. The fact that Ray is the only character I'm aware of where his wife looks him dead in the eye and tells him to his face he hasn't made a cum in a decade makes me feel fairly confident I can call him the champion of cock-swinging incompetence. Before moving on to the list, I also feel compelled to make note of a couple of honourable mention. These are sitcom dads I don't feel it's fair to label as having terminally dick-deficient wives, because they do seem to be doting partners. However, because the show never delves into the intricacies of their sex life all that much, there's no way to declaratively state what the power level of their dick is. Without further ado, the honourable mention. So, number 1 is Uncle Phil.
I'm not finished with you yet, woman. Well, I'm through with you, man. Yeah, that's right, I'm bad.
Honourable mention number 2, Martin Crane.
Quick survey. How many Crane men here with a girlfriend?
A strange pick, I'll admit, given that the character only has a handful of on-screen relationships during the 10-season run of Frasier, but when in those relationships, Marty is far more emotionally mature than either of his sons, and has a fairly high charisma stat, both of which are impressive when you consider that one of his sons is a psychiatrist and a radio presenter, and the other one of his sons is a psychiatrist. More than anything, though, I just wanted to cut to this clip of Martin schooling his children how to properly talk to a woman. That is a guy I feel fairly comfortable saying knows how to keep a woman happy, both inside and outside of the bedroom.
I guess I'm still old-fashioned or something, but I think you should treat a woman like a queen. Bow to the master, boys. Bow to the master.
Honourable mention number 3, Frank Barone.
Come on, Marie, I got a reputation here. Word of mouth is everything in this business.
Considering I just spent several paragraphs explaining how bad Ray Barone is at slipping his wife some schlong, his father Frank Barone might seem like an odd pick for an honourable mention, especially when you consider one of Everybody Loves Raymond's longest running gags that Frank Barone seemingly hates his wife.
Hello, sweetheart, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine, but, I had a thing with...
Oh, stop it, Mom! He doesn't care how you are! Hey!
However, throughout the show, we are given a handful of glimpses into Frank and Marie's relationship away from the prying, judging eyes of their children, and it's sort of sweet. Like, this isn't a relationship I'd wish on my friends, or even some of my more fuckable enemies, but whatever Frank and Marie have works for them.
I like you better without the crap on your face.
Okay? You should try and say something like that to me every day.
In regards to the old hiding of the pickle, in one episode, Marie reveals that she and Frank haven't had sex in a year.
Just say the number.
No, don't you dare. Have you no boundaries?
At the end of the episode, it's revealed that Marie lied and that she and Frank have sex, to quote the man himself, a couple of times a week. A number he notes is less than it used to be, but still pretty good. And you know what? Well done you, Frank.
Yes, it's true!
The only reason I haven't included Frank on the list proper is because there's a later episode where Frank begins taking boner pills, which have the side effect of making him lose his sense of taste.
They're for my, foot.
Your foot?
Yeah, you know. My foot.
The conclusion to this episode being that Frank ultimately decides to stop taking the pills because he prefers food to sex, seemingly having satiated at the very least his sexual appetite of 50 straight years of bi-weekly fucking.
I'm touched that our years in the boudoir have meant so much to you. Well, they have. But if it's all the same to you, I'd rather have the food.
Which is completely fair. However, this isn't a list of sitcom dads who had a lot of sex with their wife, decided they were done, and that was it. It's a list of sitcom dads who give their left nut to crawl inside their wife one last time. So let's get to that now.
Ike, what are you doing?
I am approaching you with romantic intent.
Now on to the list proper, and yes, I know it's taken us a while to get here, but given the subject matter of the video, I feel taking time to set the mood and establish boundaries is fitting, because, yeah, otherwise, what are you doing, man? Anyway, taking into account the criteria established previously, that'll be flying around on screen somewhere. Let's talk about the 5 sitcom dads I feel confident in declaring to be the CEOs of cocksmithing. So number 5, Michael Kyle.
I'm a little overwhelmed right now. I gotta wait for my blood to return to the proper places.
The protagonist of My Wife and Kids, Michael Kyle, gets a lot of points for the sheer amount of episodes of the show that directly or indirectly involve he and his wife Jay having an active sex life, in which both of them are very enthusiastic participants.
Yeah, that's just the secret of the monkey knuckle.
The monkey knuckle?
Yeah, come on upstairs, I wanna give you some monkey tail.
In addition to this, there are a lot of moments that establish that Michael and his wife Jay have just a lot of fun with each other and they share a high degree of sexual synergy. Sexergy, if you will.
Thank you. Yes, I am not complaining. You seem inspired.
Look at my inspiration. I mean, I'm almost ready for round 3.
Ooh.
I said almost.
Oh.
As an aside, there are a lot of moments in My Wife and Kids that feel very real. Like, if you look at Jay in the background of some scenes, even scenes where she's not supposed to be the focus, you'll see that she's laughing and responding positively to Michael's jokes and antics. And that just feels nice to me, because there are so many sitcoms where the wife seems actively disdainful of her husband's sense of humour and usually responds to him telling jokes or acting like a child with outright hostility.
Okay, your spouse's eyes are...
closed, but her bra is open.
No!
Jay, on the other hand, seems to actually find her husband funny, and they share numerous inside jokes, which hints at them having very strong chemistry as a couple.
Yes, baby, but I don't have anything to wear.
Of course you do. I took care of everything, just like in one of those De Beers commercials.
However, I'm unable to say for sure whether this was an intended part of the show or just a byproduct of Tisha Campbell, who plays Jay, just being a god-tier actor with flawless comedic timing and insane natural charisma.
What smells so good?
That would be me.
No, I smell gravy.
Either way, Jay and Michael are shown as being completely at ease with each other, and there's very few episodes that deal with them ever actually having an argument.
Mr. Michael Kyle?
Yes, I am. Is there something wrong with my kids?
No, I'm here to investigate a call we received about a woman screaming at this address.
I think I can explain that.
I am so embarrassed, excuse me.
This isn't to say they don't occasionally fall out though, and it's one of the episodes dealing with the fallout of this that left me no choice but to bump Michael Kyle down a few spots. Specifically in the episode Through Thick and Thin, Jay returns from a visit to her mother's having gained a few pounds. This was a plot point introduced to explain away the in-real-life weight gain of Tisha Campbell, who was pregnant at the time. Anyway, Michael is horrified at the idea of his very attractive wife having an even fatter ass and bigger tits, and struggles to perform, sexually, with his penis. Well, I do like Michael's later explanation to his wife, in particular the fact that he clarifies the thing he finds most unattractive is the lack of reciprocal effort his wife is putting into her appearance, and that he is happy to similarly stop working out if his wife would be okay with him gaining weight, which is sweet, I guess.
I would love to sit around drinking beer and getting a big gut, but I don't. I work out real hard because I want to look good for my baby. I want us to be lovers for the rest of our lives.
I do too, Michael, but I don't think that should depend on the way I look.
The whole arc just feels kind of off, and the jokes Michael makes are unnecessarily cruel and very early 2000s in their tone. Also, let's be real, there's not a single scene in any episode in which Michael's calling his wife fat where she still couldn't get it.
Babe.
Huh?
What do you think about my nightgown?
You look like a big, pretty bottle of Pepto-Bismol.
Can you stop it?
Moving on, number 4, Homer Simpson.
Hey, Miss doesn't find me attractive sexually anymore. I just tripled my productivity.
Just because Homer Simpson is packing some animated dong, it doesn't mean he doesn't know how to use it. And over the course of the show's run, which is still ongoing to this day, Homer and Marge's relationship, in particular their sex life, is the focus of numerous episodes.
Just too much pressure. What with my job, the kids, traffic snarls, political strife at home and abroad. But I promise you, the second all those things go away, we'll have sex.
I simply can't wait that long.
One of the more notable is Grandpa versus Sexual Inadequacy, which is one of several in which Homer and Marge come to the realization that their sex life has kind of fizzled, with the literal remedy being a tonic Grandpa makes that...
It'll put the dowsers back in your trousers!
Now, admittedly, this does kind of suggest Homer and Marge don't have the healthiest sex life, but I feel it's very important to note that Homer tries. Like, he is, by his own admission, a pretty bad dad, and there's only one episode where he actually uses his whole ass. When it comes to Marge, though, he's willing to put the effort in, and that counts.
Kids, here's $50. Why not go to the movies and take a cab to your aunt's house, stay there, phone call you later? No.
Whoa, homie, what's...
Marge, I'll explain to you afterwards.
As a result, I feel fairly confident saying that Homer fucking loves his wife, and by extension, loves fucking his wife, a feeling Marge would reciprocate, though she'd never use that kind of language, instead referring to it simply as snuggling.
Honey, I don't know what you're feeling right now, so I don't want to push anything. We can just hold hands, or sit and talk.
Also, I guess I kind of have to mention this. While rewatching numerous episodes specifically focused on Homer and Marge's relationship, I came to the conclusion that they're sort of freaky with it. In particular, Homer and Marge appear to enjoy, shall I say, very public displays of affection.
Maybe this will help.
Hey, look at that.
Oh, good Lord. I'm so sorry. I saw everything.
Oh, my heart's beating like crazy.
Mine too. Just like back in that hayloft.
You know, the fear of getting caught is kind of a turn-on.
And even in situations where they're having sex in the confines of their own home, in their own marital bed, they still sometimes do it so loudly and aggressively, their neighbours hear it.
Oh, homie, that was amazing. I hope the kids didn't hear us.
Wow. However, one thing I have to hold against Homer, and something that's not even really his fault, it's more a fault of the long-running nature of the show, is the sheer amount of episodes, 50 by my count at least, where Homer and Marge breaking up seems to be the focus. Admittedly, the episodes that I researched and rewatched while making this video, none of them concern Homer and Marge's sex life, but that's still a lot of episodes of the show where the relationship is shown to be rocky. But this video isn't about the strength or success of a given relationship, it's about how much the couples in those relationships seem to like fucking each other. And in Marge and Homer's case, they seem to like it a lot.
I feel like celebrating.
But it's not on the calendar. Okay, but if I'm sleepy at work tomorrow, I get to tell everyone why.
This being a sitcom, they of course make up by the end of each episode dealing with one of these breakups, but it is really hard to ignore that many fuck-ups. Although it is worth noting that none of the episodes I watched seem to indicate that Homer and Marge's marital issues are to do with anything they get up to in the bedroom, with the sole exception of when Homer intentionally gains weight to qualify for disability.
I'm finding myself less attracted to you physically.
So much to clarify is, there are a lot of episodes of The Simpsons. I rewatched as many as I could. I couldn't make it past season 25. If there's episodes past season 25 where this is the case, sure. I stand by my reasoning based on what I saw, but I'd be open to anyone telling me I'm wrong in the comments. But keep in mind, you would be using post season 25 of The Simpsons as your argument. Moving on, number 3, Phil Dunphy.
Tell me about your wife.
Well, she's beautiful, of course.
Okay, so I watched a lot of sitcoms while researching this. Video, and can I just say, it is a breath of fresh air how Vitamin P talks about his hot wife Claire.
Oh no, I'm in heaven.
No.
It is abundantly clear that Phil is utterly and completely in love with his wife Claire, who he openly refers to as his best friend numerous times, a feeling she seems to reciprocate.
Come on, honey, we should get going.
Wait, do you have the key?
No, but you do.
I don't deserve you.
For example, several episodes deal with the fact that Claire and Phil are remarkably well suited for one another and share a lot of the same interests, notably terrible B movies and later on, Halloween. In regards to the latter, this ends up forming one of the core of one of the later season's recurring storylines, what Phil and Claire are going to do after their children leave home.
I was having so much fun.
What?
I was wondering what we were going to do for the next 30 years of our lives without the kids in the house, and now I know.
The answer to which seems to be play pranks on each other, watch old bad B movies, and drive around his dad's RV, and have sex with each other as their sexy alter egos, Clive Bixby and Juliana.
I understand that your wife has had some car trouble. I wonder how that could have happened.
First introduced in Modern Family's first Valentine's Day episode, My Funky Valentine, Claire and Phil's alter egos are clear reflections of what they think their partner wants. Clive is a suave ladies' man, and Juliana is complete filth.
With any luck, you'll be the last person I do see tonight. Oh my God. Phil, I've had my eye on you for years. I'm just so happy we're finally going to get some alone time.
In fact, this comes up in a later episode with Claire wondering if Phil has somehow managed to fall in love with Juliana. If that sounds like something only an idiot would do, yeah, that's Phil.
What say we fog up that glass elevator again and grab a nightcap in the bar?
Then I put my finger on it. My husband's in love with another woman.
It ultimately turns out that while Phil is attracted to Juliana, he loves and respects his wife more. Speaking of attraction, I can't not mention a recurring trend throughout the show is that Phil harbours a crush on his own mother-in-law. Then again, his mother-in-law is Sofia Vergara, so I mean, I get it. Likewise, Phil has a, shall I say, preference for black women and hot divorced mums, and again, I get it. But here's what's refreshing about Modern Family. Claire not only is aware of this, but understands that Phil being attracted to someone else, or someone else being attracted to him, is fine. Ty Burrell is a good-looking dude. It's clear she trusts him. Like, I cannot tell you how nice it was to watch a show where a couple have an issue and just fucking talk about it.
Juliana, no.
Phil. Phil. Really?
It's so nice that Claire and Phil just talk about their issues rather than become petty, jealous weirdos anytime one of them bumps into an old boyfriend or something like that.
Listen, I think we can go to Tutto Benny's, but I don't have a reservation, so why don't we just go now?
Nah.
Hi.
And here's the thing, Phil does get jealous. He's just too nice of a guy to ever let it get to him or ruin the relationship he's built with his wife.
Allow me to make a toast to Phil.
Oh.
For allowing me to spend a bit more time with the most generous lover of it.
Okay.
Like, for example, in one episode, Claire bumps into an old boyfriend in France, and Phil is so charming and friendly that the ex ends up becoming his friend.
A fellow prestidigitator?
Yes. Put her there. Your watch, sir?
Looking for this?
What?
Oh, no way!
We should bounce.
Which, speaking of which, one of the reasons why Phil isn't higher on this list, despite having great chemistry with his wife and a bunch of episodes confirming that Phil does indeed do a respectable job of blowing his wife's back out on the reg.
Simpson!
No!
I'm sorry!
It's his own security that seemingly holds him back. Something I say because in one episode, Claire inherits her old sex car, and Phil is uncomfortable driving around in it.
It means that much to you. You should keep it, but I doubt I'll ever feel comfortable in it.
We can fix that.
I like where this is going.
The episode ends with Claire inviting Phil to have sex in the car, telling him that when they're done, the best memory she'll have of being in that car with another man will be him and her. Phil tells her he doesn't want that kind of pressure and that he's okay coming second. Which, now I think about it, was probably a dirty joke that I missed on a first rewatch. You go, Phil. Number 2, Burt Chance.
Somebody sitting down to watch Vin Diesel, and they're gonna see my wiener. This looks a little like Vin Diesel.
Raising Hope might not be the most popular sitcom on this list, but I challenge anybody out there to show me a sitcom couple who have better chemistry than Burt and Virginia Chance.
Maybe it's time for me to admit that I'm not young anymore. So, maybe we're both getting old. At least we're old together. What are you doing? Contain him.
Have you seen Jimmy?
Okay, ladies, what did the men say is your most embarrassing secret? Virginia.
Lost our sex tape.
Lost our best sex tape. Sabrina.
I watched the entire show front to back, and there's not a single episode where the two ever share so much as a crossed word. Also, I'm just going to say, Garrett Dillahunt and Martha Plimpton are god-tier actors, and they steal every scene they're in.
Oh, come on, Virginia. You're not just a maid anymore. You're a crew chief now. It's not just scrubbing toilets. You do paperwork, too.
Back to their on-screen relationship, the closest you get to Burt and Virginia actually having an argument is an episode where Virginia gets promotion, which results in her earning more money, enough to support them both financially.
I got a raise, and I've been hiding the cash because I didn't want you to see it and feel bad.
Why don't I feel bad?
Because I make more money than you?
Now, in any other show, this is where the husband sulks like a fucking child and makes shitty snide remarks until the wife quits the job because her earning more money than her husband makes the husband's penis feel small. And this is what appears to be the case in Raising Hope.
You're not feeling demasculated?
However, it is eventually revealed that Burt couldn't give less of a shit that his wife earns more than him, because they're a team and he supports her fully in everything that she does. So what's his fucking deal? Well, turns out Burt loves his wife so much, and he's so happy to see her happy, that it makes him reconsider his job.
I'm retiring. I'm out, baby. I'm not going to work today, tomorrow, or ever. I'm gonna call my boss and tell him to screw himself. And since I'm my boss, I just did!
And the best part is Virginia agrees and tells Burt that she's happy to support them both financially for as long as they need so that he can find his passion, because as he said, they're a team, and the team works best when they're both happy. This being a sitcom, Burt eventually discovers that the thing he wanted to do all along was the job he already had. He just needs to rediscover his passion for it. But still, that's very sweet.
Landscaping's my passion.
Just like my passion. Drawing ding-dongs on stuff.
Speaking of passion, Burt is throwing some serious dong Virginia's way, and the pair are nearly always pictured being physically intimate with each other, so much so that a mainstay of the character's wardrobe throughout the entire show's run is a t-shirt that says, "I'd rather be in Virginia" on it. Just so we're all on the same page, a piece of clothing that Burt wears throughout a majority of the show's run is a t-shirt telling us, the viewer, and everybody in the scene that he's in, that he would rather be having sex with his wife than doing whatever else he's doing at that moment. What a hero.
Burt, how did Virginia say you would complete this sentence?
Never met a monkey I didn't want to shake hands with. Oh, come on, they're getting all the easy ones.
Woo!
As for sex, we know that Burt and Virginia are really fucking good at it, thanks to an episode called Sex, Clown and Videotape. In this episode, it's revealed that at some point, Burt and Virginia recorded themselves having sex. I know. Nice, right? Anyway, this being a sitcom where shenanigans are never too far away, the couple lose their sex tape, which they believe was safely stored inside of a clown, which itself is believed to be inside of a storage unit. Also, for anyone curious, why did they keep the sex tape inside of a clown? The character's reasoning is that their son is scared of clowns, rightly so, and as a result would never look inside of it.
We gotta get our sex tape out of that clown's ass.
I bet nobody's ever said that before.
Getting back to the episode, it turns out that the tape ends up in the hands of another couple. And this couple, of course, watched the ever-loving shit out of it. Now, I know what you're thinking. The joke is that the couple like watching it, right? Well, yeah.
Burt, I almost didn't recognize you with your contemporary hairstyle.
Virginia, have you kept up with contemporary grooming trends?
I'm a little uncomfortable with how comfortable you two are with us.
But fun twist is that the couple who found the tape actually find the moments where Burt and Virginia aren't having sex to be the ones they end up rewatching the most. In fact, the couple revealed to Burt and Virginia that the tape saved their marriage, and they ended up creating an edited version of it with all the sex cut out to show to friends and relatives to show them what a healthy relationship looks like.
He edited out all the sex parts.
You guys had such an amazing relationship that we took a triple X, made it into a G, so we could use it as a teaching tool for relationships. Check it out.
Essentially, the couple are astounded that even in their literal, most private moments, a sex tape that they never expected anybody else to see, Burt and Virginia still take the time to talk and comfort one another, and there's no shame or judgment in their relationship. Like at all. They're completely unapologetically themselves and love each other because of that. And that's adorable.
Oh my God. Burt, do you believe that?
No. I thought we were the only ones who still had a VCR.
Me too! God, I'm so glad to hear that's what you were thinking.
Which is, yes, very cute and heartwarming, and if this was a list ranking the best sitcom couples, Burt and Virginia would win hands down. But it's not a list ranking that. It's a list ranking which sitcom dad is best at sex. And I'll be honest, every single dad on this list was competing for second place, because nobody fucks harder than Hal Wilkerson.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about it. If you loved me as much as I loved you, we'd never leave the bedroom.
Coming in at number one, which is ironic given that Hal probably always comes second with his wife, is Hal Wilkerson. Also, for anyone wondering, the family from Malcolm in the Middle's last name is indeed Wilkerson. It doesn't come up much in the show, but was mentioned in the pilot before it became a running gag to never have it said aloud.
And now, with his valedictory speech, please welcome Malcolm.
Okay, so Hal and Lois don't exactly have the healthiest relationship, something Hal himself acknowledges in one episode, where he tells Lois he loves her more than she loves him.
We'd die of starvation.
I love you.
Not as much as I love you.
Not to mention that there are multiple episodes of Malcolm in the Middle where it is established that Hal is utterly and totally besotted with his wife to a genuinely unhinged degree.
If I could give it up for anybody, I would give it up for you. But I just can't.
Heaven's gonna suck.
It is to the point where Hal admits in one episode that if Lois died, he would immediately kill himself, because at that point, he'd have nothing left to live for. Keep in mind, by the series' end, Hal has 6 children.
I've always known that you'll die first.
What?
And then I'll commit suicide a few days later. I don't want to live without you, Lois.
What?
Oh, don't act so surprised. We both know what I'm talking about.
But yeah, when Hal admits that he loves his wife more than she loves him, his primary justification for this is that if Lois loved him as much as he loved her, they'd never ever leave the bedroom. Which, after watching the show in its entirety front to back, I'm inclined to agree with, because fucking hell, Hal. Okay, so in one episode, Hal and his friends compete with one another when the subject of sex comes up, as it often does when guys drink a few beers and literally whipping out their dicks to measure them is too awkward to suggest. Yet. Anyway, the setup to this scene is that Hal has lost every single one of the bets so far when he's asked what his number is, and his answer is
2.
The twist being that the guys were actually asking how many times per week Hal had sex when he assumed they meant per day, at which point he perks up, funnily enough, and says, oh, 14.
No way.
No, he's telling the truth. Believe me, I went on vacation with him. If anything, he's underselling himself.
I guess I win.
Here's the best thing about this scene. Prior to this reveal, Hal's friends all say their number, with the answer that wins, before Hal slaps his weighty Wilkerson ween on the table, being 5, and Hal doesn't seem to think this is all that unusual an answer to the question he believes he is answering. That being, how many times per day do you and your wife have sex? The only thing I can infer from this is that Hal thinks it's normal to have sex with your wife 5 times a day, every day, for the duration of the marriage, and that, if he could, that's how often he'd be doing it. I guess he really was right when he told Lois that if they loved each other an equal amount, they'd never leave the bedroom.
I've never been so humiliated at all.
But this isn't the only episode that supports my very scientific hypothesis that Hal Wilkerson is the Wilt Chamberlain of the sitcom world. The Walt Chamberlain, if you will. I refuse to apologise for that pun. So sure, Hal and Lois have a lot of sex, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's good sex. It can be inferred that it is, but we can't say that for sure. For that, we have to go to another episode in which Hal and Lois, for whatever reason, can't have sex for about a week.
1 day off, 1 day on. I'm not a medical doctor, but I think it would be a lot less of a shock to your system.
A week, Hal. No sex for a week.
Not only does this episode show that the prospect of not having sex for this amount of time is tantamount to torture for both Hal and Lois, but the episode reveals that when Hal and Lois channel the energy they spend having sex with each other into every other facet of their lives, their lot in life notably improves.
I think I'm getting a raise.
Hal, that's wonderful. I had a good day myself. After I finished washing the windows and stripping the floors, I went over our tax returns for the last 7 years. We overpaid in '99.
You're kidding.
$800. The IRS is sending us a check.
Wow, honey, great job. You know,
the episode ends with all of this being undone when Hal and Lois realise that their sex life is more important to them than basically everything else.
Definitely doing the right thing. I'll go sleep in the car.
Park it a couple blocks away.
Perhaps the most refreshing thing about Hal and Lois' relationship, though, is that Hal is completely and utterly devoted to his wife, to the point the idea of being with another woman, or even looking at another woman, is totally alien to him. In fact, Hal is so in love with his wife that he's revealed that he literally cannot see her in a negative light, as revealed in an episode where Lois takes dance lessons. So throughout this episode, Lois believes herself to be a good dancer, when in reality, she's about as graceful on the dance floor as Bambi's mum is trying to dodge a Kamehameha. Read, she's not very good. The end of this particular episode reveals that Hal sees the version of Lois that she sees in her head. And when watching a video of her stumbling around like a dipshit, his only takeaway is that she moves like an angel.
Hal, turn this off. Hal?
Oh my God, I can't believe how beautifully you dance.
Likewise, there are multiple episodes where Lois tries to update her look, and each and every time Hal literally drops whatever he's doing to immediately take her to the bedroom and have some sex. Like it was an episode of the show where she's cleaning up the house and she nonchalantly puts a baseball cap onto her head backwards. And this is enough to give her husband a raging hell on.
Hal, will you hand me the... Hal?
Perhaps the only bad thing I can say about the couple's relationship is that Hal has a thing for, I'm not going to say bigger women, because Hal doesn't look at other women as sexual objects. So I'm just going to say he likes it when his wife has a big fat round ass.
Look at this.
I'm looking.
I'd be inclined to say it was a fetish if not for the fact that it never comes up in other episodes. So I'm forced to conclude that Hal wants his wife to put on weight so that there's physically more of her there.
No matter how big and round and kickly you get.
Like Hal wants his wife to get a dump truck, not because he's into that, but because her having said dump truck means there's physically, literally more of his wife to love. And if that doesn't say sitcom husband who's best at having sex and loves his wife the most, I don't know what else does. Cheers for watching. See you all next time.